In this video, I'm going to share with you an easy fall photo shoot idea that you can try by yourself, as well as 5 steps on how to take the photo. No Instagram boyfriend or photographer needed. Hey, it's Amy Rose Hancock here, and I help you take better photos by yourself so you don't have to hire a photographer or annoy your significant other that just wants to enjoy the scenery. So if you've ever tried taking your own photos, you'll understand that it can be pretty time consuming, not to mention nearly impossible if you don't have the right equipment. And then what if you want to get a little extra creative and add some pizzazz to your photos? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So I've spent a ton of time taking my own creative photos by myself so that I can teach you how to do it so that you don't have to waste your time making all the mistakes that I did. Okay, so it's fall and there are loads of leaves around us. You're probably thinking that I'm going to use these leaves in my photo shoot, and yes, you're correct. But how can we do this without having somebody else hold the leaves up for us? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to share my 5 steps on how you can take this photo all by yourself. Okay, so what we're going to do is get creative and add some depth to our photos using the leaves. So step number 1 is to find some leaves. And now what we're going to do with these leaves is we're going to attach the leaves to our camera lens. So the way I like to do this, and the easiest way, is simply just using some rubber bands. I actually carry rubber bands around with me in my camera bag so that I have them on hand in case I find any pretty leaves that I want to attach. Now, this photo idea doesn't just work for fall photos, you can also use it for other creative ideas as well. So at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a couple of other ways how I've used this idea, so make sure that you stick around to the end for that. Step number 2, in order to take these photos by ourselves, we're going to need a tripod and a remote. So I actually like to set up my tripod first. That way I know where I'm going to be taking the photo and what will be in frame. When it comes to tripods, you can use any tripod that you have. I have linked the one that I use in the description below. The reason why I love it is because it is super sturdy and it has a ball swivel head, which means that I can swivel my camera around to any angle. I can also flip it upside down so I can get those ultra low angle shots. And it's really lightweight and compact. It actually folds up into a little case so I can put it in my suitcase when I travel. I actually really like my new tripod, and the reason I prefer it is this bowl head is a little bit more sturdy. So when I'm using my 24 to 35mm lens, it's really heavy, and usually it wouldn't stay up on an angle like that. It would actually fall down on my old tripod. So I highly recommend this one. I'll link it if you want to check it out. So this is what the tripod looks like when it's flipped upside down. I must admit I was a little bit scared having my camera down there, but how cool is that? When it comes to remotes, you'll need to get whatever remote pairs with your camera. Now, because I'm using Sony, they have an app. So I can use this app on my phone, which I'm actually doing right now. So I can see where I am in the frame, and I can walk around with it and make sure that there's nothing in front of me and that the leaves aren't hiding my face and whatnot.
It's not working. Oh, now it is. Yeah, it's working now. It's a bit slow.
Step number 3 is to stay in focus. Now, this sounds super obvious, right? But what you have to remember is you've just attached all these beautiful, colorful leaves around the lens of your camera, and these leaves are going to be peeking into the shot. So we don't want the camera to focus on the leaves and then we'll be out of focus. So what I like to do is set my aperture a little bit higher, around about f4 or 5, and make sure that the focus is in the center of the frame, which is where I'll be standing. That way, when I click the shutter on my remote, the camera will focus on me, I'll be in focus, and the leaves will be slightly out of focus, and it will create this really beautiful, soft depth to my picture. If you had a photographer that was taking this photo for you, then of course you could use a lower aperture like f2 because they're going to be making sure every single photo is focused perfectly on you when you move or do a different pose. So we just want to be safe, that's why we're choosing a slightly higher aperture. Step 4 is to use self-timer. Now, I know you're probably thinking like, why are we using self-timer? Because we have a remote. Well, the thing is, if you can hide your remote every time you take a photo, then you don't need to use self-timer. For me, because I'm using my phone, it's a bit bigger. I often have to like throw it out of the frame or put it down on the ground or somewhere where it can't be seen. I like to use a self-timer, so I'll set it to 2 seconds because 2 seconds gives me enough time to hide my phone and get into my pose, but it's not too long that I'm posing for a really long time and I end up looking like a frozen statue.
Need to reach for it.
Now, step 5 is to take the photo. And yes, you can see my little cute little doggy. He's such a lap dog. Move around, try some different poses, try different angles, change it up. You can even move your camera to like a slightly different location because you're still going to have those beautiful leaves framing your shot. I also found some other leaves on the ground and started playing around with them, throwing them in the air. And these are the photos that I took. Now, earlier in this video, I said I was going to share some other creative ideas that you could use to take this type of photo. If you're finding value in this video, please hit the thumbs up button because it really makes a huge difference. So I've used this creative photo shoot idea using other items like roses to frame my photos. You can also use other types of flowers, or you could use parts of a Christmas tree like at Christmas time, even balloons or some like fabric like tulle. So there are endless ways, like you're only limited by your imagination with what you can do with this idea.
Yeah.
If you found this video helpful, you can download my free PDF ebook, which contains my exact 7-step photo shoot blueprint that I use every single time I plan my photo shoots. See you in there.